Right, so welcome everybody to this NatSpec Techability webinar, Minecraft Learning Through Play. I'm Neil Howard Beck, Assistant Technology Projects Lead for Techability. If you like what you hear today and you want more of different things, then just let us know. And just big thanks to Justin Edwards here, who's joining us today. So he's Director of Learning Experiences at Microsoft and Minecraft. And I grabbed him through the Bet Show and was really happy that you could come and join us today. So Justin, thank you. I'll hand over to you.
Well, thanks very much. And I think we should be able to share out my screen. We can switch over the slides. Let's see. Can we all see that? Okay.
Yeah, looking good.
Yeah, super cool. Okay, so great to be here. Thanks very much for the invite, and hopefully I can take you through the world of Minecraft and education, and then answer any questions that you might have. Any questions, I will try and answer them. If not, I'll try and find somebody who can answer them. But hopefully, I know enough about it that I'll be able to answer them all here. I'm Justin Edwards. I'm the Director of Learning Experiences. I work in Mojang, so I actually work in the Minecraft studio, or the studio that looks after Minecraft. And I work specifically on the education version of the game Minecraft Education globally. I'm actually, from an employment point of view, based out of Seattle, out of Redmond. I actually work out of the kind of Xbox area over in Bear Creek, but I'm actually physically based just outside Belfast. So I live in Belfast and I work kind of American hours on Minecraft. And I also work with the Sweden team as well. So Sweden's the other big office for Minecraft, because Minecraft was created there just we're about one day off 15 years old. So I'll talk a little bit about that now in a second. I've been at Minecraft for about 3 years. I actually joined, I was formerly one of the heads of one of the exam bodies in the UK, and I was also a regulator for A-levels and GCSEs in Northern Ireland. So I was kind of a senior civil servant that moved across into gaming, but I have a long kind of background in education, and I was a kind of gamer, so I kind of merged the two together and joined Microsoft in that way. And like I said, I've been with 3 years, and I'm going to talk about kind of a few of the projects that I've been doing and how we use gaming really for education systems around the world. I take it that most people on this call might be familiar with Minecraft, but if you're not, I'm just going to give you the kind of 101 here. It's a sandbox video game. That means it's kind of an open game where you can build and create things and model and shape the world in the way that you want. It works off a very simple concept of breaking and placing blocks. The blocks are little squares. They're designed to be about 1 meter cubed, and you can take them out of the way or you can add them. And when you add them, it's persistent. So everything you change in the world always stays changed. There is no undo, if you like. And so it's vastly open and vastly creative. You can create kind of incredible buildings, castles, villages. You can dig, and it's got these kind of two modes. One is creative, where you can create things, and one is survival, where you play a kind of game narrative right the way through. It is one of the best video games of all time. It's 15 years old this May, so computer games, as you're probably aware, don't usually last that kind of length of time. It's had like a massive following for a very, very long time, and it's become a kind of cultural phenomenon in its own right. And this kind of understanding of construction and exploration was what it started out as a game, and it's always remained true to the values of the game. Microsoft bought it after that, and it's become kind of part of the Microsoft suite, but the Mojang Studio still remains an independent studio within inside Microsoft. And like I said, that's actually where I work. The blocks are made up of various materials. So in the original game, it was all about dirt and stone and ores and tree trunks, but the blocks continue to develop and change. So we have interactive blocks, and we have redstone, and we have kind of all sorts of minerals going on inside the game. And in fact, we have a chemistry kit, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on. And then the world's infinite. So you can actually explore biomes, you can explore forests, deserts, mountains, and as you explore, the world just keeps on expanding. So there's this kind of infinite creative capability within inside the main game. The education version is just slightly different. So there are two consumer versions, one's called Java and one's called Bedrock, and those are the ones that people play on Xboxes and PlayStations and probably iPads around the world. The education version is a spin-off of the consumer version. Bedrock was created about 6 years ago, and it's actually only sold to schools, colleges, and universities around the world. You can buy it for homeschooling and things as well, but effectively it's a standalone product. It's not like a consumer product, but you can get it in schools, and it's really built up around people started using the original Minecraft game to deliver educational concepts, and so when Microsoft took on Minecraft, they created this education version, which was really to help teachers and educators who were already using it have a version that was really dedicated to their space. And it still uses the idea of kind of collaboration and creativity and problem solving that comes with the main game, but it's got a couple of special features built into it as well. So one of the things is you can code in Minecraft Education. It actually has an integrated development environment built in, and it will support Python or MakeCode block coding. So it'll actually support a full progression from early years right the way through to advanced coding directly within inside the game. You don't have to drop out the game to do it. You just stay inside the game. You can do all the coding. MakeCode's also compatible with microbits. So if you use microbits in your education setting, you'll be familiar with the MakeCode block code interface, and actually the two fit together. So if you learn for one, you learn for the other. And it means that students can transfer from kind of hardware into software, gaming, digital, and back and forth. And in fact, I'm just working on a project and finishing it off with microbit, where you can actually turn the microbit into a game controller. So you actually learn the code from the hardware and you control the game that way as well. The education version also has a multiplayer capability. So you can actually get students to all connect to a server that the teacher runs, and 40 students can connect, up to 40 students can connect at one time. And it all sits within inside the school or the tenancy. So it's super safe. Whereas servers in the gaming world are very, very open. These are closed and the teacher's able to control them. And so only the children that you invite in from your school can actually contribute on projects together. So that's super popular. We also have a library of education content. So we build materials and content within inside the game for students to play, with the teachers touching all sorts of themes from AI to cybersecurity to data. And I'll talk about a couple of the other really exciting projects that I've done over the years. But all that content is free. So it's no additional charge. Once you have the education version inside your school or college, you can access any of that material. And that's really good for students as well. If they want to kind of explore themes or topics outside kind of classroom hours, they can do so with the game as well. And then we provide a lot of specialist support for teachers, and we provide information for parents as well about what the game is, why it's safe, how to use it, etc., answering all those questions, but also helping teachers adopt the game as well. You can access an awful lot more information about Minecraft Education at education.minecraft.net. All the information is on there for teachers, for educators, for school leaders, etc. It tells you how to use it, how to get it, and all the benefits of it. So I mentioned that Minecraft's been used in education settings for quite some time. It's actually had a huge amount of research done on how gaming, and particularly how Minecraft, impacts different education outcomes. There was a meta study done a couple of years ago, which looked at all the research in Minecraft. And at that time, there were about 43 substantive papers and a couple of PhDs around, which specifically looked at how Minecraft was being used in the school and college classrooms. And the findings were quite broad from that study and from the other studies. So first of all, actually Minecraft, because it's a kind of game-based learning environment, actually has multidisciplinary engagement. So we've seen examples of math, science, English, history, geography, all taking place within inside the game and have an impact on educational outcomes. Some of the interesting areas, I'll talk about some of the subject areas that are covered, but one of the interesting things is it actually often brings together multiple skills. So you'll find that students will be doing mathematics with physics, for example. They'll be doing some physics actions and then they're understanding the mathematical concepts within inside that. And it goes even broader. So we've actually seen kind of science and English brought together in multidisciplinary ways, particularly in earlier years education. We know it improves student motivation. There was a study done in the US, and it actually increased attendance by 6% and increased outcomes by 22% by actually reducing absenteeism. And I know kind of post-COVID in education environments, that's a particular challenge. And so adding a game in, or adding game in to the learning can sometimes increase student motivation, particularly those at the fringes or those disconnected from the learning environment. If you reduce absenteeism and they're attending, the likelihood is that you're improving learning and improving learning outcomes. We've seen results from language engagement. So we've seen improvements in literacy, storytelling, vocabulary building. Students help each other with the game, and so they actually build vocabulary skills and understanding and storytelling as they do that. We've done some really interesting work with Cambridge University and Cambridge Math around math skills development, but we know that it actually improves particularly geometry and arithmetic skills. Being a 3D space where you break and place blocks, obviously geometry is part of that. So we've seen benefits out of that as well. Scientific understanding through inquiry-based learning. Obviously the coding I mentioned a lot earlier, but one of the more interesting ones is inclusive education. So we've seen students with challenges or learnability challenges to actually overcome those. So dyslexia, ADHD, and we've also seen motor skills disabilities be overcome as well through things like Xbox adaptive controllers and even eye-based controllers as well in some universities, developing students so they can actually participate and create with each other. So it creates a more inclusive environment and a broader inclusive environment as well. Higher order thinking, so you have to solve problems inside games, and once you start to solve problems and you fail forward, so you kind of fail at the game and you keep thinking about that, you actually develop critical thinking, you develop creativity, and in the multiplayer version, you're collaborating as well for problem solving. I've seen this taken to an advanced level. I saw a professor in Israel who was building quantum mechanics escape rooms. So you can only get out of the escape room if you solve a quantum mechanics puzzle. And he had set that over COVID for his students. And the final assignment was for them to build escape rooms that he had to escape from. So he flipped the classroom around. So, that's the kind of the advanced version of it, but you get kind of critical thinking and creativity at all levels with the use of game. And then social skills and cohesion. So being an avatar or being a character within inside the game helps students change identity if they so wish, or actually interact in different ways, building teamwork, building communication skills. Here in Northern Ireland, I saw a fantastic project where two schools who were across a traditional divide, they were different background schools, actually started playing with each other online, not knowing they were from different schools. They'd never connected. And in the final exercise, they actually all came together and then suddenly realized that they were from different backgrounds and they wouldn't usually interact in that way, but they'd already been interacting in the game. So it was kind of like a natural way to come together and complete the game that way. So lots of opportunity to build skills and cohesion. So I've got this great thing, makes a great difference. What's its kind of reach and its impact? So it's huge. Minecraft is the most watched thing on YouTube. It has been watched 1 trillion times. There's nothing else watched on YouTube more than other people playing Minecraft, which is incredible to think about. The average age of a Minecraft player is now 24 years old. So it's not young children playing it. It's adults who actually have grown up with Minecraft and are having their own children. So it's starting to become an intergenerational product. All our stuff that we produce in education on a first party basis is translated in 29 languages. So you can play it across communities, across the globe and connect. The majority of our gameplay is in English, but we see a lot of gameplay in Spanish, for example, now. And other European languages. And we reach 116 territories. So there pretty much isn't a part of the world that's untouched. The only place that I don't work because it's a separate version of the game is China. I've worked everywhere else with Minecraft education. And it gets huge popularity for the materials we produce. So We produced a game called Frozen Planet, which is part of the BBC Frozen Planet series. There's an image on the right-hand side. We kind of took children to frozen areas of the world and told them about the animals there. And it was so popular, it actually got downloaded, it was actually about 1.1 million times in a day, in one day, in one Saturday. So kids are super interested in the content and the materials that we make with the game, and they get really connected to it. And we know it's super popular. And there's loads of licenses out there. So there's about 35 million licenses already sat in educational institutes all around the world, in the UK included. So there's a good chance that organizations and institutes are already sat on the licenses. It's just turning them on. Basically, if you're a M365 college or education institute, good chances are you already have Minecraft education or entitlement to Minecraft education to access it. So we're all about getting those licenses used because we know that it makes a difference. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about some of the projects that I've done and how they make a difference, how we use the game. So done work with, this is the Nobel Peace Center behind me. So I've done work with the Nobel Peace Center, teaching children about peace and peacemakers and how we kind of build a better planet and better communities. I've worked with NASA. So we did a lot of work around the Artemis missions. You actually build a space rocket and you understand about space science, and that rocket engineering isn't that tough. Frozen Planet 2 and Planet Earth we did with the BBC and BBC Earth. There's actually voiceover narration in there from Sir David Attenborough, and Hans Zimmer did the music, or his team did the music. We were able to incorporate all that in the game. Super popular. And I mentioned the work about mathematics with Cambridge. So I had Cambridge University, Cambridge Mathematics help me out with that. Looking at geometry and spatial awareness and helping those kind of critical learning skills in mathematics education. Obviously, active citizen, working with peace laureates, pretty sensitive topics sometimes. Sorry. Some of the topics that we had to deal with sensitivity, but we had fantastic support from the Nobel Peace Center. But we also had fantastic support from even the foundations of the laureates themselves. So Wangari Maathai, her daughter, and her grandchildren helped us build her part in the game. Malala actually played herself in the Nobel Peace Center after we played the game. And we've also had people like the Dalai Lama's private secretary helped us do his part in the game, and the Archbishop Desmond Tutu Foundation. So people have got really involved in the game creation. You can see some of the game factors there, very interactive, learning about the stories of these people who brought about peace or changed the world for a better cause and won the Nobel Peace Prize. And we tell stories throughout histories and different backgrounds, different areas of the world, and we were able to transport children to the places where they were. So it's a fully immersive experience, and a linear part. Again, been downloaded many times, played. At one point, I think it was played more than 12,000 times in Oslo at one point, which I think was in Norway, which is more than people that got married that year in the country. So it got super played in that country. We're very proud of that piece of work. The Artemis space missions as well. I mean, it's phenomenal working with NASA, because obviously Artemis 1 was going up at the time, and we're kind of back to the journey of the moon. And all we wanted to do was connect children with a story about the space missions and about space science. So we ended up on calls with like 45 NASA engineers, just trying to understand space science and break it down. And this, when you actually you build an Artemis type rocket, and you learn about actually, can you get it into space? What's required to get into space? What's the physics involved? And then you can paint it at the end if you want, which is a really cool idea. So the kids love that. It isn't just about building it; it's actually kind of configuring it, and then you hit launch, and the thing goes into space, or doesn't get off the launch pad in the testing. You get to use it that way. So really kind of connecting with STEM and space science. And there's a coding version of the game as well, so you can learn about space code and use that way. Again, super popular around the world. Kids really connected with this material. They love the game. It's still getting downloaded all the time. And then finally, Math Mummy Mayhem. And Math Mummy Mayhem was about geometry. And what better place to understand geometry than taking children to Egypt with the pyramids. And so you go inside a pyramid and you're faced with these tasks or these puzzles. These puzzles are based on kind of notorious upper key stage 2 type puzzles, geometric shape puzzles. And you have to understand things like rotational symmetry or positioning, or two-dimensional shapes or net shapes within inside the game. And as you complete the puzzles, you finally end up defeating the mummy and escaping from the pyramid. A single-player game, doesn't use any language at all. So we really challenged ourselves here. This was all about mathematics, and could we achieve this without using any language or any script? So there is literally no script inside the game, which is great for children who maybe don't have the reading skills or the language ability, but still want to improve their mathematics as well. And we're working on a new piece of work around mathematics at the moment, which is about fractions now, because we know that fractions is also another point that is challenging for learners. And then there's build challenges. So that's using the game in what we call downloadable content. That's stuff in our library that's free to play and children can engage with it, enjoy it. But we also find that really popular way is build challenges. So we create these plates, these kind of open worlds with maybe scaffolding around them in some way, maybe a diorama or some kind of setting. So we have one that's build a satellite and it's based in a space station. We have one which is called Defend the Village, where you learn about historic walls and how walls get built over time. And then we have another one called Accessibility Park. So we have a play park and you learn about, this is the actual challenge here. You can write it in different ways, but effectively you're trying to make a park inclusive. So what kind of rides, what kind of features, how do we engage in that? And that gets out of game stuff going on, lots of discussion about design and building and creativity. And then the students come into the game and they build out their park. What actually finishes usually around these build challenges is that the students make a presentation. So maybe they bring a presentation to their teacher or to a class group about the changes or things that they would like to see inside the game. And they use the game as a 3D modeler. We've seen people build entire cities using this, and we've done some really, really interesting projects around that. And finally, you know, at the top end of this kind of work, New York City's actually done some projects. We've seen some in London, we've seen some in Buenos Aires as well, which is entirely reimagining part of your city. New York City is really interesting because it's one of the largest kind of school systems in the world. They did a thing called Battle of the Boroughs, where the school boroughs actually competed against each other to solve a particular challenge. And the final was in like a huge kind of stadium hall, and the mayor was present, and the children were kind of realizing their city and their world around them using Minecraft. And were able to present out their work from their school and able to compete each other, and they won a kind of huge Minecraft trophy at the end. It's very kind of e-sporty-esque, but really a lot of academic learning going on about kind of design and build and sustainability, creativity and teamwork, all present within inside that. This has been so successful, it's actually in its third year in a row. There's also one in Wales at the moment with the Welsh Rugby Union running one with redesigning the Welsh Rugby Union Stadium. And I've seen other competitions, like I said, in different parts of the world using the game, again, in this kind of creative, open world design way. Rather than just playing DLCs. A lot of thought process going on behind the scenes before they actually come to these kind of finals and engage with each other in different age groups. So hopefully that gives you a sense of lots of activity and lots of ways of using this particular game. Maybe that gives you some insight on how it might affect your colleges or affect your teaching environments as well. So thanks for listening to me, and I'll hand back and we'll do any questions.
Great, thank you, Justin. That was really interesting, an awful lot there going on. If anyone has any questions, please put your hands up or ask it in the chat and we'll get those asked. I'm just going to ask a quick one. Justin, can you tell us about accessibility options with Minecraft and different features that might be there?
Yep. So we obviously have color testing inside the game. We have large font. We have audio adjustments into text adjustments. We have language capability, and then Xbox also do a series of accessibility controllers, so large panels or actually configurable controllers as well for students who have physical disabilities. There's also a lot of work, particularly on our website, where you can look at how to use it to engage things like learners with dyslexia, how to engage with that. And I'm just finishing off a project in Sweden, which is actually aimed at overcoming the challenges with dyslexia with the Swedish Research Centre, the government research centre there as well. So lots of accessibility features. Always would like to develop some more. We're working on that. But we try and make it as inclusive as we can.
Great, thanks, Justin. I've just popped the accessibility link in there as well because I noticed there's quite some good information there. We had one from Luke earlier just saying, is this presentation going to be available for us to save and refer back to?
Yeah, I'll share it across to yourself, Neil, and you can share it out, no problem at all. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. And Ashley's asked, at my place of work, we have 4 sites. Would we be able to get one license for all sites, or would we need 4 separate licenses?
It depends, Ashley, how your site is broken down. So if you're all under the kind of one IT domain, you can buy it for the one IT domain, and then that's it all done. If you are split into different domains, you might need to break it down into 4 site licenses. The way it works is it actually depends on your kind of Microsoft site license. If you're a Google setup, you can actually buy it separately. You can buy Minecraft Education separately into the site. But like I said, it depends on how you're configured at a tenancy level.
Great. Thanks, Justin. We've got another question from Debbie. Is it possible for individuals to create a version that focuses on the subjects and material that they want to teach?
Yes. So we have lessons. Again, if you go to education.minecraft.net, we actually have kind of teacher lessons where we show teachers how to build material. We also have a Facebook channel called Minecraft Teachers Lounge, where about 9,000 teachers are present. That is teachers only, and they all share practice. And so they help each other build worlds and create worlds. So it's totally possible to build your own world and share that with students trying to teach the materials that you want to teach. So, yeah.
Great, thanks, Justin. I'm aware that we're running to the end of the webinar now. Are you happy to stay on for 5 minutes longer to answer?
Yes, couple of minutes. Yeah, no problem.
Great. Well, just one question before we finish the webinar then. If someone wanted to get started with Minecraft, I guess it'd be good to start from the website. Are there any other sources of information? Are there any colleges or schools that they could visit that would be kind of helpful to get them started?
Yep. So education.minecraft.net has all the information plus case stories that are going on. There's also training. Check out, if you're on Facebook, check out a thing called Minecraft Teachers Lounge. You can join if you're a teacher. You just fill in a few questions and you're in. And again, you get information about events or materials, or you can actually just ask the whole community of teachers that is there whether they have answers to some of the things you're experiencing. And you'll likely find somebody from your part of the world there. People connect all the time through that group, so you can actually see somebody else using it.
Great. Okay, that's really helpful. So just one more question. I think we've from Debbie's asked, do you have to be a teacher for these resources? So just clarifying what her role is, but actually that was a question I was interested in asking because I'm not a teacher and I'm not part of an educational organisation, but I'd love to have this so I can show people and understand how it works.
Yes.
Options.
So it's normally sold through to schools, colleges, and universities, but there is a homeschooler and a camps and clubs version. So if you look at Minecraft Education camps and clubs, you'll be able to get hold of a version for yourself. You can actually buy an individual license if you so wish. So it's really designed for anybody in an educator role, be that in kind of after school or maybe weekend clubs, can access this as well.
Great, thanks. So I'll end the webinar there, but we'll stay open for questions. So Leah, I know you just asked a question. But yeah, so thank you so much, Justin. I'll share the slides out when you send them to me and make sure everyone gets a copy of the recording. If you've liked today, then just let us know. Let us know how you're using the tech that we've shared. You can email techability@natspec.org.uk, find us on X, Twitter @tech_ability1. And don't forget to check out our website with lots of resources and also our newsletter, which will keep you up to date with what we're doing. So thank you everyone for attending and contributing, and thank you again, Justin, for coming along.
Thank you.
Thank you.